because this is just my thoughts. But like when it comes to New Year, we all tend to take New Year's resolutions, and we all tend to try our best to stick to it, or we sometimes give up. Sometimes Jan second give up at them. Sometimes we tend to carry it for a long time. So normally, I'm not sure how it works in India and other countries, but normally ఇక్కడ ఫుల్ సీరియస్ తీసుకుంటారు. రెజల్యూషన్ తీసుకోవడం మాత్రం దే విల్ టేక్ సీరియస్లీ, బట్ అది ఫాలో అవ్వాలి అండ్ you have to implement that into your daily life. They tend to think a lot. So what I learned from last year was a roller coaster for a lot of people. And personally, for me, it had nothing to do with COVID, but it was a roller coaster for other reasons which I've shared with you guys. So this was my answer to all of that. And this was my resolution for my 2021. And this happened to be on December 31st. So it felt like a Imanala. It felt like a stepping stone to my next year. So I'll just read through it. Okay, so it says, let go and let God. So if you guys have anything, any situation that's troubling you, or any situation that you need answers to, or if you're just not feeling up to it, just listen to this with all your heart. So, are you burdened about someone you love? Have your efforts to help them failed? Let go and let God deal with them. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It just means you can't do it for them. Letting go isn't about cutting yourself off. It's about realizing you didn't cause the problem, and you can't cure it, and you can't control it. It's about letting others learn from their consequences. It's admitting that this time the outcome is not in your hands. It's not about blaming or trying to change the other person, but having the wisdom to recognize you can only change yourself. Sorry, but having the wisdom to recognize you can only change yourself. It's caring about instead of caretaking. It's being supportive without trying to fix them. And instead of judging, allowing them to be a human being. Letting go means instead of wading into the middle and trying to control every possible outcome, you allow others to affect their own outcomes. Instead of hovering and being overprotective, it's about permitting them to face reality. It's about accepting instead of denying. And rather than nagging, scolding, and arguing, learning to work on your own shortcomings. Letting go means instead of trying to adjust everything to your own desires, you take each day as it comes and cherish each moment. It means instead of criticizing and regulating, you learn to focus on the purpose to which God has called you. It means not looking back with regret on the past and focusing instead on growing and living for the future. Letting go is about fearing less and loving more. So I guess my thoughts with this is in our day-to-day lives we try to have a smooth ride, and we try to um, live life according to our checklist or the checklist we've got in tune with God. But somewhere along life, there will be situations where you are struggling to accept certain things. You're struggling to deal with certain things, and you feel like it's unfair. You may either be the victim or you may either be the culprit. That is for God to decide. But in that situation, you literally feel so heavy that um, often it's hard to come out of it. And only there'll be that, split second where you're like, you know what, that's fine, let go. It's okay. It's not going to stop my week from going any better, and it's not going to change the future. So it can be anything. It can be work stress, it can be family stress, it can be your health, it can be your wealth, it can be your relationships. Most of you are at marriageable age, so it could be your life partner decision making. It can be any of that stuff. It can be just little things, or it can be huge things. So when we start to focus on our own self, um, it gives us that that time to not bother about others, because sometimes we're too busy fixing other people or other people's situations. You forget to realize that you yourself are imperfect. So now, say for example, with me, I there are so many things I can work on. There are so many things people learn from me. People think I'm nice and this and that, which is well and good. But as a human being, there's still lots of things that I should be fixing in myself. So instead of feeling sorry for myself for one particular situation, this really helped me to, let go of things when you can't control it. Because Mahayate, what will happen? If you have a clash with someone because they're a complete opposite personality to you, what happens is you won't actually reach a specific destination until you won't reach a specific agreement. Somebody or the other is agreeing to disagree, either you or the other person. So, if in that situation, Okavela, even if they say you are correct, what are you going to get out of it? You're not going to get a trophy, nobody's going to clap for you, nothing. As long as in your heart you know that you're correct and you know that you haven't wronged anyone, that is when that moment is when we just need to be trusting God for peace. We need to be trusting God for His guidance. There's Now this will be regardless of how the year goes. Now I'm pretty sure 2021 will be so much better than 2020, just because Corona is lesser in certain countries. So everybody will be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a new year. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." For some people, on the other hand, it may still be the same roller coaster because they're not able to see their family. They're probably diagnosed with COVID themselves, or they've got some other serious issues going on with them. But when you look at it on the positive side, yes, I was in this situation. Yes, I am suffering in this thing. But even in that, there'll be a blessing for us. No matter what we go through, no matter how grave our situation is, um, I guess it just takes that Mondi Dharyam or Mondi faith that, no, even if the world is breaking apart, we're good. We're fine. Nothing's going to happen. So, there's actually a lot of points in this that really helped me. Like, if you let go of some situation or a person who's not being so nice to you, doesn't mean you stop caring about them. It doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. In fact, because you love them, you're letting them deal with their thing on their own. And sometimes that is extremely important. Now, say for example, for myself, having been through that, nobody could help me in that situation. Even the person right next to me, Mahanti, you can say stuff. You can, console the person or whatever. But that true peace in your heart either comes from that person fully and sincerely apologizing, or you letting go of it regardless. So I struggled to let go. I struggled to. It says in the Bible that when someone wrongs you, you have to forgive them. And how many times do you forgive them? 70 times 7 and all of that. But do you stop at that 70 times 7? Do you have to stop at 77 um, if they do another error at 78, do you go and smash them and break their bones and never talk to them again? No, you don't. You just learn to, let go and extend grace until you can. Once you can't, and once you feel that the person's taking advantage, distance yourself. And that's what I did. So, yeah, this paragraph really touched me, because all along it shows you that you can't do everything for someone. It doesn't mean you stop caring about them. Their problems are their consequences. All it sounds all rosy on your side. కానీ ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసరికి, where is it? Rather than nagging, scolding, and arguing, learn to work on your own shortcomings. That hit me hard. So Instead of me trying to fix someone else's situations, instead of me trying to, be there for someone, go out of my way and break bounds and, be there and console them, I need to take that time instead of exerting my energy, be there for them. You can pray for them as much as you want to, but there is stuff in you that also needs fixing. So leave fixing people, fix yourself, because your own personality, your own behavior, your own faith, and everything about yourself you can control. And that's the privilege that God gives us. Because just like it says, He's still working on you to make you what you ought to be. He has given you that opportunity to, um, reflect reflect on your own shortcomings. See, okay, Tina likes washing dishes, but she may not be so good at something else. So how can she fix that? How can she do that? Or maybe, what's another thing that's bad about me? So for example, if I'm short tempered, which I'm not, but if I'm short tempered and I snap at people at the drop of a hat, I should be fixing myself. I should be spending more time with God. I should be spending more time reading His Word. I should be spending more time looking for answers in His Word, which tells me how to fix myself. Because what I'm then doing is I'm not focusing on other people around me. Instead, I'm focusing on my own self to better myself. So when you're focusing on your own self, not not being selfish that you're not there for other people, but like in when you go on the aeroplane, I fly frequently to India and back. So when you go on an aeroplane, you're always told, always put your oxygen mask to yourself first, only then can you help someone else. If you be, with all due respect, if you be Mahatma Gandhi or somebody great, um, okay, bad example, not Mahatma Gandhi. If you be somebody top and you want to sacrifice your oxygen mask and help the other person with their oxygen mask, what if you die in between? You didn't put your own oxygen mask, you didn't put their oxygen mask, but you gave them that hope that you will put their oxygen mask. So, in saying that, fix ourselves first and then try to be there for the other person. Because what we often forget is that you're not the only person in that other person's world. They are surrounded by other loved ones. When your cup is starting to fall over or run over, learn to control your own cup, learn to switch the tap off, keep your water in control, and they can fill their own cup, or somebody else will fill their own cup who is able to. All along when you're in that situation, say for example, I was in that situation and I wasn't sure how to get out of it, or I was struggling to, people knew I was correct, but nobody was willing to actually accept and admit that fact. Naku, I was struggling that, I am correct, but why am I being portrayed to be the wrong person? So in that situation, I had to realize and I had to accept the fact that no matter who is how close to you in life, there is some point in life where you will feel completely alone. And I'm not sure how many of you would go through that, but I did. So I felt completely alone. Like, there may have been people at home. There may have been, I have a very amazing family, lots of support, and a very good support system. But even then, there will be certain situations where, you just feel fully alone. And that loneliness pushes you more to God. Like it shows you, like, God says, the whole world will leave you, still I'll be there with you. And I think that situation was so real to me when it comes to that thought that, people do understand that I was right. People do understand that I didn't do anything wrong or all of that stuff. But you have to be able to accept in life that there are certain situations that you just have to bite the bullet, let things go, and just move on. So, yeah, these are a few thoughts. So, I think I'm done.